Attention, Mountaineer family. The commencement ceremony is about to begin. At this time, please locate the nearest emergency exit. Please silence your cell phones, tablets, and electronic devices and turn your attention to the outstanding students who are the focus of this day. This is their moment to shine, so please give them and their many accomplishments your full attention. Now, let's get ready to welcome our graduates.
Good morning and welcome to the West Virginia University School of Dentistry's 58th commencement. Today we honor West Virginia University's 2019 May graduates 149 years after Marmaduke H. Stent became the university's first graduate and alumnus. Please welcome West Virginia University School of Dentistry's candidates for graduation, led by University Marshals and School of Dentistry faculty, Dr. Laura Graves carrying the gonfalon and Dr. Susan Morgan. Please welcome the School of Dentistry faculty and the family members who are participating in the hooding. And now please welcome members of the Platform Party, Professor Amy Fuck, Director of the Department of Dental Hygiene at the WVU School of Dentistry. Dr. Fotinas Pedagogis, Associate Dean for Research at the WVU School of Dentistry. Dr. Sheila Price, Associate Dean of Admissions, Recruitment and Access at the WVU School of Dentistry. Dr. Michael Metter, Associate Dean for Clinical Education and Patient Care at the WVU School of Dentistry. Dr. Christina Urbias, Associate Dean for Academic and Postdoctorate Programs at the WVU School of Dentistry. Dr. Thomas Borgia, Dean of the WVU School of Dentistry. Dr. Louise Veselecki, Associate Vice President for Health Sciences Center Academic Affairs. Dr. Michael McCall, a University Marshal and Clinical Associate Public Health. And Dr. Clay Marsh, West Virginia University's Vice President and Executive Dean for Health Sciences, who will be conferring the degrees today. Please all rise for the singing of our national anthem performed by Michelle Smith, and remain standing for the singing of the Alma Mater. During the singing of the national anthem, it is customary for men to remove their hats.
Oh, say can you
You may now be seated. It is now my esteemed pleasure to introduce the Dean of the WVU School of Dentistry, Dr. Thomas Borgia.
Thank you, Dr. Wanker. Dr. Marsh, faculty colleagues, distinguished and honored guests, parents and family, and most of all, especially to the graduates of the Schools of Dentistry and Dental Hygiene class of 2019. Welcome everyone to the 58th graduation ceremonies of the West Virginia University School of Dentistry. It is a most joyous, momentous, and particularly unforgettable day for all of us assembled here on the occasion of celebration that honors the many achievements and accomplishments of our graduates. We are all justifiably proud of each and every one of them. In addition to being times of celebration, commencements are also occasions of reflection of what has been learned, what has been accomplished, and in all probability, contemplation of the tremendous amounts of hard work and unlimited determination that they have displayed over the last 4 years by our soon-to-be graduates. For many, this then will be the culmination of obtaining the distinction of the degrees that they are about to receive. Yet all of us here now know and understand that it is far from the consummation of their career building efforts, but rather is only the end of just one phase of our graduates' lives. To quote the eminent British Prime Minister Winston Churchill after successfully winning the Battle of Britain early on in World War II, and I quote, "Now is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end, but it is perhaps the end of the beginning." So why do we use the word commencement when our ceremonies today mark the conclusion of 4 seemingly endless years of study? We are all familiar with the word semantics, but to make it clear, semantics is defined as the study of meaning in language. Further, the word etymology derives from the Greek words for the study of and true sense. I frequently remember a good friend from my days of private practice who was quite the insightful individual commenting on the word retreat, such as in a faculty retreat. "Shouldn't it be called an advanced and not a retreat?" he would lament. Good point, don't you think? To rectify the exact meaning of commencement, I turn to the real expert, the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, and from that I quote, "The suffix ment makes the word of commencement a noun, a thing, an activity, a start. Anything that begins has a moment of commencement." That's why graduation ceremony is called a commencement. A graduate is embarking on a new life, and the commencement ritual marks the official beginning of that life, end quote. Because I received a very traditional and classical liberal arts education as an undergraduate, I frequently turn to the so-called classics when I am thinking about trying to convey a message to young people, such as the members of the class of 2019. To this day, I still enjoy reading Greek mythology and Roman history and continuously find valuable lessons from the great scholars of those eras of more than 2,000 years ago. If you were a male in those days, the very highest professional aspiration was to become a so-called orator, with academic preparation begun at a very early age. Maybe that's why we continue to remember and quote their sayings and advice into our completely different and now modern world. They were truly geniuses and scholars, and maybe we would be as well if we had the time that they had to contemplate and discuss life and the universe. From those brilliant and insightful minds, I would now like to convey a few phrases that our graduates will hopefully remember and take with them throughout their careers. Phrases of advice to recollect as each and every one of them begin that new life that will hold many and varied challenges, triumphs and failures, joy and sadness, and excitement and disappointment. From the words of Aristotle, "Live life by a higher code." He refers to the so-called magnanimous man who knows that, quote, "personal honor, not ego, is the ultimate priority and concern." From the Sophocles play entitled Philoctetes, "Never underestimate the power of personal integrity." In response to the idea that we should not allow moral concerns to impede the necessities of practical achievement, One of the main characters in the play, Neoptolemos, tells us, quote, "I would prefer even to fail with honor than win by cheating." One of my personal favorite quotes comes from Heraclitus, in which he states, "Character is destiny." Heraclitus believed that our character or moral essence determines the course of our lives, and that we alone, to a very great extent, are the authors of both our own blessings and our own burdens. Turning to the Romans for a moment, Marcus Fabius Quintilianus, scholar and orator in the 1st century AD, is quoted as having said, "The mind is exercised by the variety and multiplicity of the subject matter, while the character is molded by the contemplation of virtue and vice." In keeping with my Italian heritage, I have chosen words from Niccolò Machiavelli, not a Greek or a Roman, but whom some of you may be familiar with because of his well-known book, The Prince. Besides, why should Dr. Panagakis' heritage get all the glory? Machiavelli was a Renaissance figure who was heavily influenced by both Aristotle and Plato, and you may know the word Machiavellian, that conjures thoughts of intrigue and, yes, even self-serving attitude. I'm not sure I like to admit this, but the central character of the book was based on Cesare Borgia, oldest child of Pope Alexander VI, obviously not the best pope, having fathered 4 children during his tenure as a cardinal. Cesare was a dashing figure in the 15th century of Renaissance Italy, and a friend of Machiavelli who advised him that, quote, "It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles." Demosthenes, orator of the 4th century BC, reminded us that, quote, "Small opportunities are often the beginning of great enterprises." Having just completed 4 years of intense study and training, I know everyone is anxious to begin their new lives, but before you form all of your thoughts and opinions, remember the words of Pericles, Greek statesman of the 5th century BC. Wait for the wisest of all counselors, time. Heraclitus reminds us that there is nothing permanent except change. I and all of your faculty hope you will all never forget the words of Alexander the Great, Macedonian conqueror of the 4th century BC. "I am indebted to my father for living, but to my teacher for living well." And of course, I've left the best for last, and please forgive me, ladies, this was written 2,500 years ago by the greatest philosopher of all, Socrates. Quote, "By all means, get married. If you find a good life, you'll be happy. If not, you'll become a philosopher." Unfortunately, I didn't find a good wife, so true to Socrates' words, I guess that makes me a philosopher whether I like it or not. That now brings me to what I cherish the most from having minored in philosophy in college, knowing and understanding the Socratic method of thinking. Solving a problem, any problem, begins with breaking it down into a series of questions. By answering those questions individually, the resolution to the problem at hand is distilled by the integration of those answers. I began by questioning the use of the word commencement at a graduation ceremony, because one means to begin and the other connotes completion. By asking a series of questions, I arrived at a very logical and what seems like an obvious answer. Graduates, over the last 4 years, your faculty have guided you, advised you, and taught you, but that will end when you leave us today. You will face many and varied questions as you now truly begin your professional careers. Remember the words of the great philosophers from time to time, but most foremost, for each challenge, problem, or question that confronts you, by asking your own questions. Be confident in yourselves, and you will find the correct answers. You now possess the best that dental education can provide. It is up to each and every one of you to utilize that knowledge and those skills for the betterment of your fellow citizens. We know that you will make us all proud, not only in dentistry, but as leaders in your communities. One of my principal mentors, the eminent Dr. Kuda Longlan, chairman of my department at the University of Connecticut, once said to me, "The sign of a good teacher is that his students are better than he was." I say with confidence that your entire faculty desire that they can be defined by those words, and with that, we wish you great success, satisfaction in your careers, and continuing professional and personal development and distinction. Thank you. It is now an honor and a pleasure for me to introduce Dr. Clay Marsh, West Virginia University's Vice President and Executive Dean for Health Sciences.
Good morning. Good morning. It's a great event. And just to clear the air to begin with, I am married, so I guess I'm not a philosopher. I'd like to thank Dr. Borgia and the leadership of the dental school, all of the faculty that are here, parents, families, friends, thank you for being here, and congratulations to our graduates. So Tom asked me to do a 1 hour and 30-minute academic talk to you, and I decided to talk about Game of Thrones. I am going to talk about Game of Thrones. So I want to talk to our students, but because it's awkward to keep turning back and forth, I'm going to face here, but I'm thinking about you guys, okay? So I want to talk a bit about the hero's journey. And the Game of Thrones is an exemplar of the hero's journey, which was a codified observation by Joseph Campbell, who is a mythology teacher who taught at St. Lawrence College. And what he found was that from mythology, there was a number of stories that ended up converging upon the same path. And that path he called the hero's journey. And I'm going to argue, and I would like to propose in this much shorter talk than an hour and 30 minutes, that we're all on a hero's journey. And our health, whether it's oral health, physical health, mental health, is really dependent on us completing the hero's journey. So bear with me when I sort of lay out what the hero's journey is. The hero's journey, according to Joseph Campbell, starts with the hero being small, insignificant, having very strong limits. Think about Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. Think about Harry Potter, who was abandoned because his parents were killed, alone. And this idea about vulnerability and being alone and being in a drab, unexciting place and being a speck in the universe is the start of the hero's journey. And that may be what many people feel today in our world. 75% of people aren't happy with their jobs. 45% of at least physicians are burned out. The loneliest part of our population from a test from Cigna Health Plan were 18 to 22-year-old kids. And so you think about it, that there's many things in our world today that puts us in that sort of fight or flight mode, makes us anxious, makes us nervous, makes us scared, makes us feel small. And in fact, many people would think that the goal of our lives is to get more, to compete. We even talk about the war on cancer, the battle against drugs. You know, the workplace has become a battlefield. And that activates our egos, which cause us to be separate. A Nobel Prize winner, Angus Deaton, found when looking at economic data at Princeton that people today, there's a group of people today, 45 to 55-year-old, non-Hispanic Caucasians with a high school education or less that are dying today at a rate that we haven't seen since the peak of the AIDS epidemic. And they're dying of despair and hopelessness. They're dying of the feeling that they don't matter. And it's interesting that the Kaiser Family Foundation did a big study that they basically took 17,000 18-year-olds and under, and they gave them a 10-question questionnaire called the Adverse Childhood Experience Survey. And these questions are about neglect, trauma, and family dysfunction. Questions like, were you loved when you were growing up? Did you live with your parents? Did your parents get put in jail? Did anybody ever threaten you with violence or sexually inappropriate behavior? The average score in America is 1, which makes your risk of everything bad. This is 18 and under now. This is not over 18, but this will predict the rest of your life for cancer, heart disease, diabetes, suicide risk, opioid addiction. If your answer to those questions is 4, your lifespan is predictably less by 4.7 years. If your answer to that questionnaire is 6, And we went to a part of West Virginia, and we were talking to a school board official who said their average score in one of their schools was 8. If your score is 6, your lifespan is likely to be 20 years less. And if you look at counties in West Virginia versus the best counties in the country, which exists in Colorado, there is a 20-year lifespan discrepancy. So as we start to look at how we see our own life and look at the things we want to acquire and achieve, more stuff, more power, more money, eventually we figure out that that's not very fulfilling. In fact, the average lottery winner is less happy than the average person. Some people say, try me, I'll give it a shot, but nonetheless, that is the data. And the average person surviving a life-threatening illness is happier than the average person, because the people that understand how precious the really priceless gifts are before they're gone are really blessed. The Sufi poet Rumi said, "Yesterday I was clever and wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise and decided to change myself." The odds against any one of us sitting there being us, listening or talking, maybe too much talking and too much listening, but nonetheless, is 10 to the 2,640,000th power. That's 10 times 10 times 10 times 10, 2,640,000 times. It's impossible. So every day when we wake up, when we see the people we love, when we get to do what we love, it is not only a privilege, it is truly a miracle. And if we saw our lives that way before that was taken away from us, I'm a critical care physician, and I've been with people that are dying, and nobody I've ever talked to who's dying wants to do another day of work or have another project to keep them busy. They want to have a walk outside. They want to have a meal with their family. Some people just want to change a diaper for their child. And those are miracles that we have available to us every day. Now, if we want to look at that in the frame of health and the hero's journey, because the hero goes through a lot of challenges and then gets into the dark day of the night where they have to face their own fears. And the metaphor for the hero's journey is our own journey inside, to find ourselves. The root word of health is hal, H-A-L, which is also the root word of holy, is also the root word of heal, and it means whole, complete, W-H-O-L-E. And as we start to think about what makes us healthy and what makes us happy, they're really not the things outside, they're the things inside. So if we merely follow simple airline safety and put the mask on ourselves first before we put it on somebody else, then maybe things will be better. And it's interesting that almost every religion at its base has its foundational frame as the golden rule, which is treat others the way that you would want to be treated. And I'm going to vary it a little bit. I would say treat others the way you would want somebody you love to be treated. And if we all treated each other that way, instead of competing, cooperating, instead of seeing each other like an enemy, see each other like a mirror. Because the real hero's journey inside is finding out that you have everything you need all the time. Like Dorothy in Kansas, you always have the power to go home. And as the hero comes out of the hero's journey and returns, and we don't exactly know Game of Thrones yet, but for us that are hooked on it, we'll find out in the next 2 weeks. But as the hero comes back, the hero is greater, sees things differently. Dorothy in Kansas, Harry Potter with Voldemort. And that really is the metaphor for us feeling whole ourselves. So my wish to our graduates today, and my wish to you in the audience, is to understand that you really do have the power to make yourself whole and to make yourself healthy. But it's not stuff that you get on the outside, it's work that you do on the inside. And I hope that as our graduates, some leave and some stay, take their own country roads, they'll remember that at least part of that road will always bring them home to us. And whether you wear the Flying WV on your coat, whether you wear the Flying WV on your shirt, I hope you keep it in your heart. I wish you Godspeed, class of 2019. Thank you. And now we have a real treat. Michelle Smith is going to sing Simple Gifts.
Tis the gift to be simple, tis the gift to be free, tis the gift to come down where you want to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight. When true simplicity is gained, to bow and to bend we shan't be ashamed. To turn will be our delight, till by turning we come round right. 'Tis the gift to be simple, 'tis the gift to be free, 'tis the gift to come down where you want to be. And when we find ourselves in the place just right, 'twill be in the valley of love and delight.
On behalf of the Department of Dental Hygiene, I would like to congratulate both classes of 2019. You all have done a wonderful job. The faculty have loved both the dental and dental hygiene classes. I'd like to wish them all the best luck in the world and hope they have wonderful careers in front of them. In 1961, WVU welcomed the first students into the dental hygiene program. Since then, we have celebrated 54 years of graduating dental hygienists that display excellence in patient care and professionalism. The dental hygiene class of 2019 will receive the dental hygiene pin, signifying clinical competency. The circular design of the pin denotes perpetuity, and the lilac border is the official color of dentistry. Inscribed on the border are the words West Virginia University Dental Hygiene. Located in the center of the pin is a caduceus upon which the initial D for dentistry is superimposed. Encompassing the entire pin is the laurel leaf, foliage once used to crown victors in the Olympic Games, but now symbolic of scholastic honor. 2 baccalaureate graduates are donning white stoles and gold cords, signifying the membership in Sigma Phi Alpha, the National Dental Hygiene Honor Society. Students who have achieved academic honors are indicated by asterisks beside their names in the program, and these students can be identified by the blue and gold cords worn today. Additionally, 3 students who have achieved the highest overall grade point averages will be recognized during the pinning ceremony. They will receive a certificate acknowledging their outstanding scholastic achievement. Assisting you at the pinning of the dental hygiene graduates is Ms. Sue Ann Gatos, Senior Clinic Supervisor, Ashley Sowards, Junior Clinic Supervisor, both faculty in the Department of Dental Hygiene. Vice President Marsh, Dr. Veselecki, and Dean Borgia, please join me in congratulating the graduates and go to the diploma tables and take your places.
family and friends, and Dr. Marsh, I am confident that this graduating class of 2019 will treat their patients following the Golden Rule. So let's recognize the dental hygiene class of 2019. Ellie McRae Attaway from Romney, West Virginia. Congratulations to Ellie, who earned the 3rd highest grade point average in her class. Callie Catherine Baker from Quincy, Massachusetts. Lakin Elizabeth Beardsley from Parkersburg, West Virginia. Congratulations to Lakin, who earned the 2nd highest grade point average in her class. Taylor Diane Bunting from Georgetown, Delaware. Kristen Nicole Cook from Pineville, West Virginia. Remington Charles Glenn Dewey from Bridgeville, Delaware. Anna Marie Ellis from Brewston Mills, West Virginia. Mackenzie Paige Fisher from Mannington, West Virginia. Erica Michelle Helmstetter from Hazlitt, New Jersey. Megan Nicole Longwell from Weirton, West Virginia. Katia Elizabeth Pace from Yorktown, Virginia. Emily Virginia Strickland from South Charleston, West Virginia. Miranda Joyce Thompson from Clarksburg, West Virginia. Hannah Marie Vecchio from Carmichael, Pennsylvania. Megan Leanne Wetzel from Barboursville, West Virginia. With the highest overall grade point average in her class, Abigail Nicole Withrow from Winchester, Virginia. May Hong Shu, Clarksburg, Maryland.
Please join me in congratulating the dental hygiene class of 2019. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Robert Weinker, Assistant Dean for Student and Alumni Affairs, for recognition of this year's candidates for the degree of Doctor in Dental Surgery.
Next on the program is the investiture of the candidates with the academic hood and conferring the degree of Doctor of Dental Surgery. The hood represents academic and professional achievement and is worn with pride and dignity. Please note, as the candidates are hooded, the border of the hood is trimmed in lilac, which is the identifying color of dentistry. The colors on the inside of the hood are blue and gold, signifying West Virginia University. The graduates inducted into Omicron Kappa Upsilon, the National Dental Honor Society, on Thursday evening of this week will be wearing an academic stole that is part of the academic attire. The stole is in the color of OKU, navy blue and gold. Embroidery trimmed in lilac for dentistry. Veterans and military members are wearing red, white, and blue cords, and members of Delta Sigma Delta International Dental Fraternity are wearing crimson and turquoise cords. Our 3 students with the highest academic averages will be announced as their names are called. Assisting to me is Dr. Sheila Price, Associate Dean of Admissions, Recruitment and Access, and Dr. Michael Metter, Associate Dean for Clinical Education and Patient Care. Miriam Al-Nayu, Kuwait. Miriam will be hooded by Dr. Sue Joel and Dr. Elizabeth Gao. Mason Bishop, Somerville, West Virginia. Mason is being hooded by Dr. Laura Graves. Mackenzie Campbell, Kingsport, Tennessee. Mackenzie is being hooded by Dr. Frank Mestelers. Nathaniel Chertok, Morgantown, West Virginia. Nathaniel is being hooded by Dr. Shelby Alexander. Do Hum Choi, South Korea. Do is being hooded by his sisters, Dr. Do Young and Dr. Do Bin Choi. Yasmin Ahmed Dashan, Charleston, West Virginia. Yasmin is being hooded by Dr. Susan Morgan. Brianna Marie Derringer, Bridgeport, West Virginia. Brianna is being hooded by Dr. Linnell Bouchane. Jordan Dillon, Fraser's Bottom, West Virginia. Jordan is being hooded by his father, Dr. Dan Dillon. Dan. Christopher Duplaga, Wheeling, West Virginia. Chris is being hooded by Dr. Craig Manji. Mary Catherine Edwards, Morgantown, West Virginia. Mary is being hooded by her grandfather, Dr. J. Fred Wilson, her uncle, Dr. Michael Wilson, and her cousin, Dr. Jason Wilson. Miranda Ferrari, Bridgeport, West Virginia. Miranda is being hooded by Dr. Frank Messlers. Joseph Finelli, Gulf Breeze, Florida. Joey is being hooded by Drs. Brian Dye and Laura Graves. Caitlin Elizabeth Fullen, Lewisburg, West Virginia. Caitlin is being hooded by Dr. Andrea Kane. Timothy Goff, Timonian, Maryland. Timothy is being hooded by Dr. Rachel Wilt and Hibakari. Courtney Devon Hamrick, Barrackville, West Virginia. Courtney is being hooded by Dr. Shelby Alexander. Seth Hamrick, Upper Glade, West Virginia. Seth is being hooded by Dr. Susan Morgan. Sierra Corinne Hardy, New Cumberland, West Virginia. Sierra is being hooded by Dr. Laura Graves. Madeline Rose Harwell, Charleston, West Virginia. Madeline is being hooded by Dr. Larry Kolaski. Eric Gregory Hatton, Wayne, West Virginia. Eric is being hooded by Dr. Mo Galishibov. And I am pleased to announce that Eric will graduate at number 2 in the dental class of 2019. Christopher Joseph Hester, West Mifflin, Pennsylvania. CJ will be hooded by his father, Dr. Joseph Hester. Keith Hickman, Elizabeth, West Virginia. Keith is being hooded by Dr. Susan Morgan. Catherine Holzapple, Spring Grove, West Virginia. Catherine is being hooded by Dr. Pim Mascara. Keenan Hosino, Charleston, West Virginia. Keenan is being hooded by Dr. Don Sauter. Emily Louise Hertansky, Cross Lanes, West Virginia. Emily is being hooded by Dr. Michael Metter. Margaret Jane Jones, Summersville, West Virginia. Margaret is being hooded by Dr. Susan Morgan. Miranda Ray Kolaski, Charleston, West Virginia. Miranda is being hooded by her father, Dr. Larry Kolaski. Christopher Stephen Mallow, Upper Track, West Virginia. Chris is being hooded by his father, Dr. Stephen Mallow. I'm also pleased to announce that Chris will graduate number 3 in the dental class of 2019. Andrew Mara, Fairmont, West Virginia. Andrew is being hooded by his brother, Dr. Anthony Mara. Wesley McWaters, Hurricane, West Virginia. Wes is being hooded by Dr. Crane Maggi and his father, Dr. Terry McWaters. Julia Meadows, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Julia is being hooded by Dr. Tammy Chips. Mohammed Mustafa Mekki, Morgantown, West Virginia. Mohammed is being hooded by his sister, Dr. Mona Mustafa Mekki. Fazer Ranjbaran Modabar, Morgantown, West Virginia. Fazer is being hooded by Dr. Laura Graves and Dr. Susan Morgan. Morgan Marie Nowry, Morgantown, West Virginia. Morgan is being hooded by Dr. Susan Morgan and Dr. Rachel Wilt. Haley Oliverio, Bridgeport, West Virginia. Haley is being hooded by her fiance, Dr. Rohit Nazad. Angela Marie Pelahak, Republic, Pennsylvania. Angela is being hooded by Dr. Shelby Alexander. And I am pleased to announce that Angela is number 1 in the dental class of 2019. Michael Raphael Petridis, Steubenville, Ohio. Michael is being hooded by his brother, Dr. Pete Petridis. Caitlin Louise Pitchock, Weirton, West Virginia. Caitlin is being hooded by Dr. Frank Mestelers. Robert Stewart Point, Wilmington, North Carolina. Robert's being hooded by Dr. Michael Bagby and Dr. Hibakwari. Tyler Ray, Cleveland, Tennessee. Tyler is being hooded by his father, Dr. Tim Ray. Louis Roncaglione, Charleston, West Virginia. Louis is being hooded by Dr. Laura Graves. Kathleen Grace Scheffler, Charleston, West Virginia. Kate is being hooded by Dr. Peter Nod. Courtney Ann Struben, Oakland, Maryland. Courtney is being hooded by Dr. Hibakari. Ellen Valentine, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Ellen is being hooded by Dr. Laura Graves. Donovan Walter, Triadelphia, West Virginia. Donovan is being hooded by his father, Dr. Don Walter. Brennan Matthew Wood, Alderson, West Virginia. Brennan is being hooded by Dr. Laura Graves. Devin Nicole Zagier, Charleston, West Virginia. Devin is being hooded by her father, Dr. John Zagier, and her brother, Dr. Drew Zagier. Let's give one more big round of applause for the 2019 dental graduates. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Associate Dean for Academic and Postdoctoral Programs, Dr. Christina Tobias, to come forward and recognize the recipients of postdoctoral degrees and certificates. Dr. Tobias.
Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the Office of Academic Affairs, I'd like to sincerely congratulate all the dental and dental hygiene graduates of the class of 2019. Advanced education programs at the West Virginia University School of Dentistry are an integral part of the educational, patient care, service, and research components that support the mission of the school. The Department of Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery offers 2 postgraduate programs and a 1-year general practice residency. The 2 postgraduate programs include the 4-year Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery residency and the 1-year internship. Today, Dr. Brian Weaver, Chair of the Department of Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery, will present the certificate for general practice residency to Dr. Andrea Kane from New Martinsville, West Virginia. Post-baccalaureate education in dental hygiene may be pursued on a full or part-time basis and consists of an additional 38 credit hours of study leading to the Master of Science degree in dental hygiene. Postgraduate training in endodontics consists of a 30-month program leading to the Master of Science degree and certificate in endodontics. Postgraduate training in orthodontics involves a 3-year program of study leading to the Master of Science and certificate in orthodontics. Postgraduate training in periodontics involves a 34-month program of study leading to a Master of Science degree and certificate in periodontics. Last but not least, postgraduate training in prosthodontics is also comprised of a 3-year program of study leading to the Master of Science and certificate in prosthodontics. Today, Dr. Matthew Bryington, director of this program, will award the certificate in prosthodontics to Dr. Matthew Harper from Morgantown, West Virginia. Certificates for the Advanced Education Program graduates in dental hygiene, endodontics, orthodontics, and oral and maxillofacial surgery are conferred during separate ceremonies. The names of the candidates for these degrees are listed in your program. Please join me once again in congratulating the graduates of our advanced education programs. Dr. Borgia.
Thank you, Dr. Tobias. Please join me in extending our sincere congratulations to our recipients of the postdoctoral degrees and certificate. Once again, please. It is now my pleasure to introduce Mackenzie Fisher, President of the Dental Hygiene class, who brings to you the student response.
Good morning, everybody. Today marks a milestone in all of our lives. 1,365 days ago, the West Virginia University Dental Hygiene class of 2019 had just started their journey in this program. Looking back, May 11, 2019 seems so out of reach, but here we sit together, about to walk across the stage and start the next chapter of our lives. The endless hours in the library, stressing over grades and running around like crazy people trying to meet requirements has finally come to an end. Saying it out loud makes it kind of bittersweet. Dental hygiene faculty, you have all been there at our lowest and highest moments in the last 4 years. Without your guidance and tough love, we wouldn't be sitting here today. For all the times we feel like we couldn't go anymore, there you were with a little nudge to just get us through another semester. From the first time we picked up an Explorer to when we all cried finding out we passed our boards, there you were cheering us on. We will forever remember the advice that you gave us, whether it was clinical advice or relationship advice, which we all needed from time to time. Thank you. Friends and family, words will never be able to show the gratitude we have for you. I believe success happens from hard work, but it's easier to obtain when you have a good support system. The visits on the weekends and random phone calls are what got us through these years. I have a feeling everyone is just as excited as my parents for us to graduate. To my classmates, we've spent nearly every day together for the past 4 years. I know I'm going to miss the little moments, like the song says, passing out at 3, waking up at 10, going out to eat, then doing it all over again. Man, I love college. Although it was more like we got up at 6 a.m. to go to clinic and class, but I wouldn't trade our time together for anything else in the world. There's something I could say about every one of you, but I told myself I'd keep this short. So I'll leave off on this note. I heard something this past year that stuck with me. It's not about how much money you make, it's about the lives you can impact. While the money we will make will be a plus, may we never lose focus of what it means to be a dental hygienist. Congratulations to the class of 2019. We did it.
Thank you, Mackenzie. It is now my pleasure to introduce Tyler Ray, President of the 2019 Doctor of Dental Surgery class, who brings to you the student response from the School of Dentistry.
Whew, man, good morning. So I wanted to start with some dental jokes today. Something about how this is our crowning achievement, or we have extracted all the knowledge we could and are leaving with an amalgam of skills and abilities. But I was advised against doing so I'll spare you my dad jokes. Seriously though, I want to take my time and tell you about our dental school experience. And don't worry, I'll spare everyone the dirty, stressful details of the hours spent in class or clinic, or maybe that professor that was a little tough to deal with, except for second-year radiology, which was pretty terrible for all of us. Now, today I want to talk about the graduating class that sits before you. And I want everyone to know that because of this group, I think others will share my sentiment, I have had an incredible 4 years here at this school. This class has been special from day one, As we settled into our first year routines, instructors began to tell me how much they liked working with our class. They commented on how well we functioned together and how much we supported one another. And I mention this because I am so proud to have been a part of your class. Everyone sitting before you is part of an incredible group of students with a reputation for excellence, and audience members, you should be proud as well. This is evidenced by the fact that nearly half our class is going on to pursue some sort of postdoctoral training. This includes AEGDs, GPRs, orthodontics, oral surgery, and pediatrics. God bless you. Others will be going on to serve the public, and many going straight into practice with friends or family. And all this is impressive, to say the least. This class earned a stellar reputation and is leaving with a bright future. However, our time here was not all classrooms and clinics. Outside, we formed incredible bonds of friendship that will last a lifetime. Our class even had an engagement. Looking at you, Chris and Sierra. These relationships made what can only be described as suffering in the classroom bearable, and even pretty funny at times. Cliche as this may be, I really don't know what my experience would have been without this group. I can say I probably would not have been sitting in the front of the room sweating and shaking because I laughed so hard at an inappropriate joke, but it was moments like those with my friends that made me love the class even more. We had grill and chills, Halloween parties, hiking trips, tailgates, and even a failed attempt at entering a bowling league. It was these extracurriculars that made the stresses of dental school feel manageable, and I think we're all leaving with our own special memories of what made our time here great. As you move forward, I hope you all look back on the fun we had earning this DDS degree. Life will be stressful, work will be hard, and things will not go as planned. And when that happens, just remember that you made it through this test and you still had fun along the way. But enough about us. There's an equally important group of people that deserve recognition here: friends, family, and instructors. In short, our support system. And I know that everyone had a network of support through dental school. And you in the audience, you were that support system. You listened when we had to unwind from a stressful day. Very special thank you to my wife. I brought home a lot more dental school than she cared to listen to. You helped us study, you cooked for us, or you simply offered to be a friend. Some of you even helped us pass our boards by being our patients. Another special thank you to my wife. Maybe she should get my dental degree. All jokes aside, though, I would like to speak for my class and say thank you to everyone that supported us. Significant others, moms and dads, grandparents and kids. You were all an integral part of our success and sanity these past 4 years, and that means more than you will ever know. In closing, I want to say to my class that I'm excited for everyone. You have an amazing career ahead of you as you join this great profession. And as you progress, remember that you are more than just a dentist. You are a pillar in your community. You will be trusted for your wisdom and guidance. Do good for the community you live and work in. Work hard and inspire the next generation of healthcare providers. And finally, 4 years ago, I wrote my phone number on a whiteboard, and I told you can call me anytime and I'll do whatever I can to help. That offer still stands. I wish you all the best.
Parents, family members, this is showtime. Graduates, rise. Now, by the virtue of the authority vested in me by the West Virginia University Board of Governors, I hereby confer upon you the degrees for which you have been recommended, with all the rights, honors, and privileges appertaining thereto. Students receiving the Bachelor of Science in Dental Hygiene and dental degree students who have not yet received a bachelor's degree, you may move your tassel to the left side of your cap as a symbol of your achievement. Now, will you in the audience and all of our faculty and staff here please join me in congratulating our newest graduating class, the class of 2019. Now we'll exit after the platform party in about 4.5 minutes. Get your phones and cameras out. Guys, get ready. Families, get ready.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old there. Older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads. All my memories gather round her. Miner's lady, stranger to blue water. Dark and dusty, painted on the sky. Missed a taste of moonshine, teardrops in my eyes. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads. I hear her voice in the morning hours. She calls me. The radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should have been home yesterday, Lord, yesterday. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Virginia, Mountain Mama, Mama, take me home. Country roads, take me home. Down country roads, take me home. Down country roads.
Have a great rest of the day. As always, God bless you all. Let's go, Mountaineers!